Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now with all the lockdown easing that's been happening recently, I mean with the opening of pubs and restaurants, more people are allowed to gather in one place. I know that, well, on the 25th of July, the pools are going to be allowed to open and we're going to finally be able to get back to diving. But with all of that comes, for me, I feel a little bit of like, I don't know, stress, anxiety, wondering what's going to happen. Will there be a second wave? You know, what is the new normal going to look like? Is it going to be weird, like going back to, you know, restaurants and bars or just little things like that? And it's made me kind of really appreciate what life was like before lockdown, before we had to think about all of these things, what we took for granted. I mean, even looking back at the beginning of lockdown and seeing how small Robbie was and how much he seems to have grown and how much he's changed in this time. So I thought what I would do is look back over the lockdown period and go over the 5 things that has happened to me in lockdown and that I would love to take away with me for the rest of my life. Number 1 for me is family time. This year was meant to be an Olympic year, so I would have been traveling here, there and everywhere with diving competitions, training camps, getting ready for the Olympic Games, kitting out, all of that kind of stuff. And right now I would be in South Korea in the training camp about to head into the Olympic Village in Tokyo. And of course we're not doing that. You know, at the time it was really quite stressful to think, when are they going to announce that the Olympics are going to be postponed? Because we knew it was going to happen, but then we didn't know when they were going to announce it, and then they did announce that it was going to be postponed, but then we didn't know the dates. So it's been this like constant feeling of like, oh, we don't know what we're doing, and everybody's been up in the air about everything. But you know, the time that I've got to spend with my family, because my mum was in London when the announcement was made about lockdown, so she stayed up here in London with us, and this unexpected time that I got to spend with, well, not only Lance and Robbie, but also my mum has been really special. I would have missed so many things if it hadn't been for locking down and not being able to travel, not being able to go to the pool, and just being with Robbie 24/7 has been one of, I mean, I know that lots of horrible things have happened to lots of families and lots of people, but I will forever be grateful for the extra time that we got to spend together that we otherwise wouldn't have. Just little things like he can now count to 10, he knows all of his colours, he can recite the alphabet song, little things like that at the beginning he was only saying a few words, and now he's kind of like transformed into this like actual little human being that you can actually have a conversation with. Well, not a full conversation, but you can actually communicate with, which has been really special. And the same with Lance, like being able to be home and be able to see him, not having to go away and feel like I was going to be, you know, constantly on FaceTime to see everyone. Just having that communicate has made us feel really bonded as a family unit, and I really, really love that. And I hope that, you know, and it's just really made me value family time. Really made me value that feeling of being like a really close, tight-knit unit. Who loves me more? Me!
Who am I right now?
Stop.
Who am I right now?
We're so happy. We're so happy in lockdown together, aren't we? So happy.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm not having that.
Nailed it! Nailed it!
I think it's safe to say Robbie absolutely loved his chocolate.
Happy birthday, Robbie!
Happy Mother's Day.
Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Another thing that we've all had to get used to, well for me with my profession, is working out, and what that looks like now. I mean, with the gyms opening on the 25th of July, of course there's going to be some kind of normality coming back, but still not going to be that normal. They're going to be a lot emptier. There's, you know, going to be lots of protocols in place to be able to get back into gyms, but at the same time, the fact that I've been able to have a little bit of a break away from diving constantly 24/7 and the impact on my body, how it hurts my shoulders, my back, and all those kinds of things, being able to take a mental break and a step back and be able to do workouts that I really enjoy that aren't necessarily diving specific, things I wouldn't necessarily have time or energy for if I was training full-time for the Olympics have been something that I've really enjoyed. Like the fit classes that I've been doing, that you might have seen on my Instagram, I've absolutely loved doing that. Spending more time stretching, spending more time on mobility, all of the things that I would usually, I do some of that stuff when I'm training with diving, but normally it's go, go, go. So having that time to be able to spend on my body and being able to really get it into the best shape possible in terms of mobility and stretching, so that I'm giving myself the best opportunity as an older athlete now. I'm currently the oldest on the team of people that are qualified to go to the Olympics, so it's just a matter of making sure that I last this next year without any injuries, touch wood, because for me, as I'm getting older, that has been the big thing, is training smart, and this time has given me an opportunity to be able to feel like I'm taking the time that I need to focus on the bits that were going to hinder that possibly. So I think that for me has been a massive thing. I want to take forward spending more time, with recovery, spending more time on mobility to make sure that I'm able to get the best out of my performance every day. Another thing I'm definitely going to take away from lockdown is knitting. I have become obsessed with knitting. You've probably heard me talk about it a lot, I don't know, maybe you haven't, but I love knitting. I've made scarves, I've made ponchos, I've made jumpers, I've made socks, I've made blankets, hats, cuddly toys, you name it, I've made it. I've been trying to make lots of different things, and I am literally obsessed with it, and it's been so much fun for me to learn that, and it's a real great way for me to be able to switch off and just do something that's like quite mindful. It's definitely something that I'm going to take forward with me because it really calms me down, de-stresses, and it's something that I've found to be really therapeutic. So when I'm away on training camps or competition, that time that used to be like for in between training sessions or in the evenings when it's kind of nothing to do, just sitting there knitting is gonna like pass so much time rather than just like binge watching stuff and I don't know, playing games. It's just able to have some time to be able to, it's like active resting if you like, because it's not it's like the purest form of rest because you're just sitting there doing nothing, but you're doing something without completely switching your brain off. I don't know, there's something about it that I just absolutely love, so that's something I'm definitely gonna keep. Number 4 are date nights. I'm currently dressed for date night. Oh hey, it's my turn to do date night. So what we do is we switch each week who's in turn in charge of cooking. So tonight I am going to be making, to be honest, I'm using Jamie Oliver's 5 ingredient meals book because 5 ingredients just makes it so much easier. So I'm doing 3 courses. The first one is going to be like a green spaghetti, like with like kale mashed into it, like blended into the sauce. Anyway, then for main course, it's like this 1 pot sausage and apple tray bake thing, and it looks delicious. And we're just using some veggie sausages for that. And for dinner, it's like a teacup orange sponge thing. It almost looks like a treacle sponge, but not, because it's orange and dark chocolate. Anyway, that's what I'm going for. Who knows how it'll go, but date nights have been something that have been so nice for us. We only kind of started doing it halfway through lockdown because we found ourselves just, going through the motions, and every day kind of blended into one. So every Friday night we would make sure that we would do a date night, and once Robbie was in bed we would, because normally we always eat at about 5:30 for when Robbie eats, and then Robbie goes to bed, and then we just kind of sit and chill, and then we go to bed. So we make dinner a little bit later, so we have dinner at 7:30. So we have dinner and a couple of drinks, and we're just able to chat about our week and just spend time together. And there's something so really, so bonding about getting to know each other, like as we've been changing over these last few weeks, because so there are stresses and there are worries, and being able to talk about them has been something that's been really, really nice. And also, when we get into bed every night, we ask each other the best and worst thing about our days, just to be able to bring up anything that's bothering us, or bring up things that we really liked. Who's texting me? But being able to bring up stuff that is bothering us or not bothering us, something that we really liked, it's really nice to be able to just have those conversations, because sometimes we don't know if something's bothering one another, or we don't know some of the good things that have happened in each other's day, because Lance is downstairs working, I'm upstairs with Robbie, so there's that balance, and I think it's that's something that I definitely take on once we come out of lockdown. Number 5, I think the most important thing that I have got from this lockdown experience, and I think for lots of people, is perspective. Perspective on what matters most, and to not take the little things for granted. Family, friends, being close to other human beings, being able to have that connection, being able to go out and do things, and how lucky and how fortunate we were to be able to go and do all of those things, being able to travel, all of that. We were so lucky to be able to do that. And who knows what this new normal and how long the new normal is going to be until there's a vaccine. But to be honest, it's just about being, you know, everyone has to do their bit right now to be sensible and try and maintain as much distance as possible, wear masks, whatever you can do to help because the faster we do that, and I know it's inconvenient, but the faster we do that, the faster we get back to normal. But I do think it has given me a sense of perspective. The Olympics being postponed a year, and just being able to spend more time with my family, it's all kind of just like, you know what matters most is me, Lance, Robbie, my mum, like my family. That unit is so special to me, and everything that I do with diving, everything I do otherwise, it's kind of like, you know what, yeah, that's great, but it's not who I am. Yes, I'm a diver, but that's not the only thing I am. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a son. Like, all of those things for me are so much more important, and it's kind of just given me that, like, when I'm going back to diving, I'm really like, yes, I love diving and I love what I'm doing right now and I'm really enjoying it. But if it goes great, amazing. If it goes bad, okay, I'm gonna go home to my family who are gonna love me regardless, and there's something really special and really comforting in knowing that. So that kind of perspective is really, it just feels like so much pressure has been taken off of me, and the fact that the Olympics has been delayed a year just almost feels like we've got a bonus round, yay! So that bonus round kind of just feels like I'm able to just really enjoy it. It's almost like a victory lap of something that there was no victory over. But it just feels like there's going to be like a, you know, an extra bonus year that nobody ever thought we were going to get. So I think perspective is a big thing that I've taken from lockdown. So those are 5 things that I have taken from lockdown because, you know, what's happened in these last few months has, you know, people have lost family members, the stress that's been put on the NHS and all around the world. It's been a really dark time for humankind this past year, and I think I just wanted to try and do something positive about some positive things that I have taken from lockdown, and I'd be so curious to know your lockdown experiences, whether positive, negative, whatever it is, the things that you can take away from lockdown and take into your, I don't know, it's like a new life that we're about to begin in the next, well, coming months possibly, with the ease of lockdown. Who knows if there's going to be a second spike, but for right now, what have you learned through lockdown and what do you want to take on in the rest of your life? What lessons have you learned? But anyway, in the meantime, don't forget to leave the comment on about the story of your lockdown. Give this video a like, and I will see you next time. So don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Stay safe, everyone.